that the true path of least resistance is this trajectory of well-being. It is overriding and underpinning everything you see. But if you've practiced yourself into a focus moment where you're having this sort of vibrational fit, where you are disallowing your awareness and your resonance with that trajectory, life can feel pretty hard to you. And so that's really what we want to help you to overcome in these hours that we're together. I want to show you how to mold your thoughts into vibrational alignment and resonance with who you really are. In other words, just talk yourself into feeling good. Now, for some of our physical friends, this conversation, it feels a little troubling because it sounds to you like what we're saying is, don't face reality. That's exactly what we're saying. Because facing reality just regurgitates reality. Now, there's plenty of reality that you want to keep replicated in your life experience, but you want to learn to be a more selective sifter. So you want to keep the thoughts that feel the best and leave the thoughts that feel the worst. And so if it's a thought that doesn't feel good, general will slow it down. If it does feel good, more specific will speed it up. But you want to be discerning of which it is. So the first thing that you want to do, anytime you're aware that you're feeling any emotion, is say, good for me, my guidance is really working. This is really a good thing. Esther loves driving. She would drive all day, every day, if she could find a place to go and a reason to go there. And she's pretty good at finding a place to go and a reason to go there, and something to drive there in. And all along many of the highways across the country are those little bumps along the edge of the road. And she really enjoys moving along, and every now and again, bump, especially when she was driving the monster bus. It's big, it wants to take up a lot of room. Bump. And she never took it as an indictment of her morality. She never took it as an indication of her worthiness. She took it as an indication, keep going in this trajectory and you're going off the road. Guidance. Just guidance. Guidance that is easy to correct from. And that's what your emotions are. That's even what all manifestations are about. Just guidance to help you to correct the trajectory. But you do it with the power of your mind, and you mold it by caring about the way you feel. But it's like our physical friends say, Abraham, I have fallen out of an airplane and I have no parachute. What do you suggest I do now? And we say, hang on, it will be over in a little bit. And that's momentum, isn't it? And so sometimes there is a trajectory that you haven't practiced what you really want enough, and so that trajectory is going to play itself out. And will continue to play itself out until you replace it with a different trajectory. But the thing that we so want you to understand is that you don't have to dig down and get to the bottom of those negative trajectories. In fact, there is no bottom. Because the more you try to figure out what's gone wrong, the more the universe will reveal to you more evidence that it is going wrong. Law of attraction is just that way. And so if you will accept that there's no bottom, and so you will stop trying to get to the bottom of it, but instead just take the negative emotion as the indicator, and then at the next best opportunity, reach for a good feeling thought. And what we're saying to you today is, in many cases, not every case, in many cases, the next best opportunity is when you first awaken tomorrow morning. But it's a long time to wait. But it is the next best opportunity. So once we convinced Esther of that, she didn't want to blow it for the day. Right. In other words, she wanted to get there. She wanted to acknowledge that she was there. And we're not talking about bringing yourself to bouncing off the wall enthusiasm. We're not talking about getting so high that you want to go out screaming into the woods your appreciation of all life. We're not talking about that kind of momentum. There's usually not that kind of momentum first thing in the morning. We're just talking about having a feeling of satisfaction, a feeling of well-being, a feeling of right place, right time, a feeling of, isn't this a nice day, a feeling of at oneness with the universe, a feeling of appreciation that the sun is coming around whether you can see it behind the clouds or not, a realization that the earth is spinning in its orbit, and all things, most things that are important to you are really in a good place, and that everything is working out for you. Just make those general statements to yourself. Find someone who's easy to love and focus on them, or find something that you really appreciate and focus on that, or find something that doesn't have much dynamic in either case and just focus on that. In other words, sometimes Esther will just take a notebook and draw a room and move furniture around in the room just to see how it looks on paper. Just for fun. Now, it might not seem like life-changing things, but anything that occupies your mind in a way that feels good to you means you're in vibrational alignment with source energy. So you can hold yourself steadily on things that don't feel very important to you. And in that steady place of non-resistance about things that don't feel very important to you, insight comes about things that do feel very important to you. But you can't get to very important things that really feel good to you from an awareness of the very important things that you want are not happening. In other words, there's too much of a vibrational gap. Where if you start in the middle, not feeling particularly bad or good, and reach for feelings of satisfaction, as you maintain that sort of momentum, what begins to happen is thoughts begin to flow. And isn't life made up of day-to-day, lifetime experiences? Aren't they the conversations? Isn't it the day-to-day movement that makes up the majority of your life? Don't you really want this moment to be one of satisfaction rather than distress? Don't you want this moment to be one of clarity rather than confusion? Don't you want to feel humorous? Don't you want to feel lighthearted about life and about others? Don't you want to feel eager about what you're doing or interested in your day? Don't you want to feel interested in whatever it is that you're watching on television or reading about? Don't you just love the feeling of energy moving? You know those feelings that we're talking about, and we're wanting to remind you that this is Source reading with you, Source watching with you, Source speaking with you, Source creating with you. In other words, you're just not happy doing it alone, and yet you have relegated yourselves to doing it alone because somebody's convinced you that you got to prove your worthiness, which means you got to get off in the corner by yourself, and you got to prove what you're made of, which means you got to prove how much you're willing to suffer in order to get to the good stuff. And we say, get to the good stuff through suffering. You get to the good stuff through savoring. You get to the good stuff through reaching for thoughts that feel good to you. You just get better and better at this. And as our friend was talking about this being tethered to this high-flying disc, we want you to understand this bungee cord is really resilient. And really, when you think about it, you are eternally tethered to this vibration of well-being. In other words, you just can't separate yourself from it. You are eternally tethered to this vibration of well-being. And so what if you find a thought that doesn't allow you to be there? How are you going to know it? Can you imagine a sculptor taking a big clump of clay and just splatting it on the table and then complaining, well, I thought he'd be better at this. I don't like that at all. Or can you imagine an artist with his first paint and brush sort of trying to make something of it? And don't you want to mold it into place? And so when you begin to consciously and deliberately mold the energy, can't you give yourself, when a child is learning to walk and falls down, you say, get up, you little dummy. You don't say that, do you? You expect to be able to find your balance. And that's all we're talking about. Give yourself a break. Chill out. Don't ask yourself to be on the high-flying disc when this is the first time that you've really even focused upon it. It makes sense to you. You're feeling resonance with it. But you haven't been practicing getting there and staying there. You've been practicing observing what anybody's going to show you. And you've been trying to gravitate toward things that feel good. That's why you choose the friends you choose and the programs you watch and the books you read. We know that you are wanting to guide your life. You've just never guided it with this sort of infinitesimal care and attention and understanding. But you've never understood about vibration before. You've never understood about the power of leverage that comes from alignment. And now that you are understanding that, you can't go back. Jerry and Esther used to say quite often, we should change the disclaimer that you sign that lets you know that you're going to be recorded, maybe videotaped, and it might show up somewhere. And by the way, you can't go back. Once you understand that you are vibration, you will never be able to not understand that again, because you felt resonance with your source who has known it and wanted you to know it. And if we've said it in a way that you've heard it, now you know it and you can't go back from that. Now that you know that you are the creator of your own reality, you cannot go back from that. You can never again blame someone else without knowing it's not really your fault. We just rendezvoused on the Henri disc, and here we are together proving to each other where we are vibrationally. That's all that's going on here. It's not an indictment of our soul. It's not an indictment of our cleverness or our clarity. All it means is we just rendezvoused here because that's where we had our tuner tuned to. So here we are enhancing one another's experience right here where we are. And so once you begin to acknowledge that when you wake up, it's your best chance, and you go for it and you accomplish it and you get some momentum going, and then the results of that day are better than any days that you've had lately, then it makes you sort of kind of want to do that more often, you see. And if you fall off, which you can't really fall off because you're eternally tethered, but if you're dangling down in there and in the yucky stuff, just laugh about it. This is just old stuff that I got going on. Doesn't have anything to do with what I currently know. I'm just still in the practicing phase of this. You'll get so good at it that it won't take hard work after a while. And even though you get really, 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 really good at it, there's always going to be something that'll take you off, but your resiliency will be the factor that gets better and better and better and better and better. You're never going to reach the place that you can look right at something that you really eternally do not want. You're never going to be able to listen to someone hating out loud and getting you in on the dialogue and not feel the ramifications of that disconnection. You're never going to feel good when you hate. You're never going to feel good when you criticize. You're never going to feel good when you make fun of someone in a negative way. You're never going to feel good when you do that. But you might be like a lot of people who have soothed yourself into that being all right. But those days are over, folks. Because once you find resonance with who you really are, you'll throw your fits, you will, and they'll feel really bad, and you'll bounce back from them easily, you see. And so it's really about how much airtime are you giving? How good do you want to feel? How much momentum do you want to get going there? How much do you want to hook up with this energy that creates worlds? How much clarity do you want? And then one day, soon, you'll be moving through a day, and instead of longing for things to change out there, big things like the vacation of a lifetime or the relationship of a lifetime or the dream house or the dream car, instead of reaching for those things that feel way out there, you'll realize that you're walking around in a sort of magical seeming dream from anybody else's perspective, maybe even your own former perspective, where everywhere you go, things are just working out. It's like the universe really has your back. It's like the perfect thought of clarity comes at the perfect time that just helps you to dovetail with this and dovetail with this and dovetail with that, until it just feels like this magical ride where you say the right thing at the right time and somebody else says the right thing at the right time, and doors are just opening and nothing breaks your gait, and you just move with effortlessness, with ease and flow and fun and agility and clarity, and you just say, I love my life. I just love what's going on here. I would like to stay in this state forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And that's who you are. That's the state you intend to stay in. That's the state that is the most logical. That's the state that has the most momentum. That's the state that is really who you are. When you begin to sniff that out and practice it and hold it, there will be no turning back for you, you see. And no one's holding out on you. There is no one saying, well, clean it up and then good stuff will come. It's nothing like that. Everything is self-introduced, self-induced, self-created. Everything is. And when you get hold of directing your own mind, then all day, every day, fun, not just vacation of a lifetime. Fun right now, fun right now, fun right now, fun, clarity, interest, now. And when that momentum gets going, you'll be knocked over at the cleverness of the universe to keep you interested all day, every day. And you put yourself in your bed at night and you think, oh man, can it get any better than this? And you hear a resounding yes from the universe. Yes, not only can it, it is. Just wait till tomorrow. If you like today, just wait till tomorrow. And you wake up with expectation, see what's out there. And there it is, and there it is, and there it is. In the eyes of that person, and the smile of that person, the conversation of that person, and the insight flowing into your own mind, the rendezvousing that you begin doing with infinite intelligence as it's flowing through physical and non-physical alike all around you. And you say, now I get what life is about. We're here for the joy of it. We're here for the self-expression of it. We're here for the expansion of it, with infinite resources flowing to us and through us. No shortage of any kind. Only resources to assist and to guide and to revel, you see. Life's good. Life's really good.
Thank you very much.
Really good.